Thank you for taking the time for this meeting this afternoon. We're going to look at the agenda. If everybody, have you had the chance to look at the agenda? Are there any additions to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, can I have somebody approve the agenda? Thank you, Daniel. Seconded by Warden Muse. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye. Contrary, raise your hand or say aye. Good, motion carried. Next, we have the approval of the minutes. So there are minutes from our May 18th meeting. I trust you've all had the chance. You're moving them, Guy? Good. Okay, moved by Councillor Surratt. Is there a seconder on the minutes? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Barry. Any questions on the minutes? Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Contrary minded, you can raise your hand. Motion carried. Good. 4.1 on business. 4.1 is draft terms of reference. So we had tasked the CAOs to work on the draft version of new terms of reference for this committee, since the committee had changed a bit. From what I understand, they're not quite ready. CEO Gushue, did you want to speak to that?
I just wanted to let you know that that myself, Alain, Victoria, and Durham met earlier today, and we're reviewing a draft document. There's more work required, but we're hoping to have that work completed for your next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you. Next item, we have timeline of events. I'm not sure if I have the right agenda up or not, but under timeline of events, I'm going to ask Mark Brophy to speak to this if he would.
Okay, no problem. Just got to get it here. Okay, so thanks, Duran, for helping me with this presentation. We're now in week 2 of this flow chart, and the important topic for this meeting is a proposal from EXP to help us with the funding document, which will consist of the updating the concept plan. We hope to have that back to you in 2 or 3 weeks. Going to update the funding document, and we're going to really target the guideline using every word, phrase that needs to be sent back, and do a real professional job on this application. That's what we hope to do this week. Get approval to proceed. The next 2 weeks will basically be just working on that. They've got a team of 4 just ready to go once I tell them to go, and then we're showing week of the 14th to present the concept plan. And assuming that that's a go, the week after would be the funding document, and then we got a week to finalize for the hard deadline of July 6th. So that's the flow chart of where we want to make that deadline.
Sounds good. Are there any questions, any comments? That was the flow chart that was attached to the agenda. I don't have it attached to mine. Did you all have a chance to see that, to take a look at that? Yes. Daniel, did you? I wasn't sure if you shook your head yes or no.
So it's a lot to happen in those number of weeks. I think it's really important to realize that this is not design development. We're not going to finish the design in 3 weeks. It's got to be a concept that works to get a Class D estimate, and then with some renderings, some pretty pictures to make the funding document look professional. To getting every adjacency right, getting all room sizes right, getting the finishes right. That's not what this has to be. This is just a update that we had last time to make it make sense with the budget I've been given, and then that's what's needed for the funding document.
Sounds good. Do you need anything more from us right now? Not until we look over the funding EXP contract?
That's really it. That's the starting point.
All right. So that's the next item on the agenda. Oh, sorry, Duran, go ahead.
It was just for context. There's a second slide.
Okay.
And the intention of that slide is just to provide, I think, a 10,000 foot view of where we sit in a project, in project milestones. So Mark and I work together on that as well. It's not the focus of your agenda here, but as we march forward as a committee, I think it's important to know where we sit in sequence of deliverables and the main milestones. And, you know, as we talk about reviewing the terms of reference, knowing where we sit on our milestones and our committed timelines and goals that we've set for ourselves, that type of view will be important. So it's there for people's context on Mark's current deliverable there under planning.
So we're in the project, and I don't know who has got that up on their own screens, but we're in the project initiation phase. There's no project yet. The first two boxes is when all the key planning is done and put you in a position for success. The first two boxes really don't cost money. It's not till you get to the third box, the execution, that you have to actually spend money. So what that means is we can start to pick off some of the things in the first two boxes and get them ready while the application is being reviewed. So we can actually move yardsticks instead of stopping on July 6th.
If you go to the second slide, I don't know who's shared. It looks like Victoria's sharing. There you are. Yeah.
So there's of those first two sections, there's a lot can be done there that really doesn't cost money.
That was sent to us. That was added a little bit later on.
And I think as we flesh out that document, the terms of reference, I think that's the name that it's given. Earlier conversation talked about, you know, the need for us to educate ourselves as a committee on, you know, what a project like this involves. And one of them would be a familiarity with that journey across those milestones and what each of those deliverables entails. Not to become an expert at it, but just know enough to manage the agenda, manage our what deliverables are between meetings and the like. So we'll probably bring that back as a topic and walk through those steps so that we're all on the same page, because
Right.
everyone's going to read those bullets and interpret them through their own experience, but we probably should level set and make that an agenda item at a future date.
Okay. Sounds good. Just writing that down. All right. Next, we have 4.3, funding of EXP contract. Mark, did you want to speak to that again? You're at the start today.
Sure. We put that together pretty fast from last week. I sent two emails to EXP on what I saw as being the scope to move forward, and they sent the pricing in today. It's exactly what we need. They've broken it out scope by scope, and I'd recommend we take a hard look at this and we can start as soon as it's approved.
So process to approve, that was a question I had. Do we approve that? We can't approve that here, can we? How does that work?
That's in that terms of reference.
Okay. That was my question. I wasn't sure. As I looked through that, I thought, I don't know if we have the authority to. So, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Victoria.
There had been previously approved an amount for this type of work, and we're very, very close to that amount. I'm thinking, Ellen, do you remember the number that each of the councils approved way back when we started again in the fall? I'm thinking we had 50,000, I think, overall approved, and I think we're knocking on the door of 40. So we don't have enough left to go ahead with this EXP proposal under existing approvals. Our council's meeting tomorrow night, but if you needed to, I don't see Warden Cunningham here yet, but my deputy warden is here. So if you needed something tonight, they're here, you could ask them for sure. But we're definitely meeting tomorrow night. But I hear what Mark's saying. A lot could happen tomorrow if we could tell them yes on food for thought.
Mm-hmm. Our council is meeting tonight. Would it be too late to add that on? CAO Muse?
No, we could do the same. I mean, ultimately, we want this committee to have some authority, right? And to me, paying for the application for funding would seem like a natural fit to this organization to do that. Problem is we don't have an approved terms of reference to confirm it.
Right.
So, you know, certainly we can bring that to our agenda tonight. Not a problem. How much is the, I'm just trying to open that. I don't see it here.
32 and change.
Gordon Muse, did you want to say something?
I was going to ask how much.
Okay.
It was already asked.
It was, yeah, 32.5 plus HST, of which 3,500 will be an expense of the cost consultation and 2,500 for an AFN rep. So is our best move to go back to our respective councils as quickly as possible to come up with a decision on this? Is that the wish of this group, or do we, yeah, does that seem to be
We're Thursday,
okay?
I think. Yeah.
Councillor Surratt, what did you want to say?
Nicole, just so I understand, sometimes I am in the fog here. It seems so. What we're talking about here, and I think maybe Mark kind of explained it a little bit. This is just, it's all about funding EXP to do the design or look at the contract. Is that what we're doing here?
It's to revamp, right? We already had begun something with them, and then things have been like all over the place, right? And we need to get an application in as soon as possible, and we need their help in order to help write the application to get everything that we need in there. Am I correct, Mark, or am I?
That's exactly right. There'll be two parts of this, of this. Updating the previous application, which will actually serve as more of an appendix, and then the actual formal, there's a guideline how you actually make the application to the federal government. So a successful consultant have to be very, very good at proposals, because that's how they get their work. This is a proposal, and they've got a team that's ready to help us with that. That's how they get that's how they generate their work, by good proposals. And that's what my expectation is, a good proposal.
Nicole, I think Trevor has his hand up too.
Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead. Trevor, go ahead.
Right, so just to be clear, tomorrow night, our council's meeting, and that will not hinder in any way the forward progress on this file. I mean, if we had to, we could call an emergency meeting or make sure those funds are available to move forward with EXP ASAP. Just maybe some clarity around that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Mark?
Perhaps. Yes. Yeah.
Every day counts. The sooner you can get it, the sooner I can get started. That's all.
Okay. CEO Muse.
So CEO Brooks mentioned that we still have some room in the previous authority, meaning we wouldn't need immediate approval from this group or from the three other councils to get the work started. So if you were willing to take the risk, knowing that, I mean, let's face it, like we just committed to a $30 million project. Like if we're not gonna pony up our portion of 32K for an application, we may as well pack it in. Like, what are we doing? So let's just recommend at this level, let's get the authorities from each of the groups, but know that we have $10,000. So geez, I mean, if EXP was to spend $10,000 between now and Thursday, they're doing pretty good. So I think that would be the practical approach to this. And then maybe we don't have to do this again once we get the terms of reference ironed out appropriately.
Their kickoff meeting, they've broken out as $500. I could do that tomorrow, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how does that sound with everybody? Trevor, did you have another question?
Yeah, I'd like. I mean, maybe a motion is appropriate. So I will make the motion that this committee expend the remaining funds or make available the remaining funds to EXP in the near term, with the understanding that each of the three councils will be going to the table on or before Thursday of this week to approve the remainder of the contract to have the work done as discussed here today by Mr. Brophy.
Sounds good. Do we have a seconder? Counselor Daniel Allen, seconder. Are there any discussion, conversation about that? Seeing none? Did you have a
Just a
question, Gil?
quick, yeah, just a
Yep.
quick question. Just, are we able to pull it together a town meeting before Thursday? That's,
Yeah, we can, but we have one on Thursday anyway.
okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll
I
do
think
that
we have committee of the
Okay.
whole. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
And then Gil will do the council meeting right after that.
Sounds good, thank you. Just wanted to confirm.
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye. Contrary, raise your hand or say aye. Hi, John. Motion carried. Good, thank you. Next we have 4.4 provincial conversation summary. So I'm going to defer that one to Mayor Mood. She's going to give us a little insight on her conversation today. You're muted.
There we are. Okay, so we had a very, the wardens and I and our MLA, we had a conversation around, we just wanted to know, were they on track with the funding? In short, it was a really positive meeting. I just needed clarification on something that came out of that, which was the scope of it. And the MLA suggested I call TIR, so I did do that. Basically, he's thinking that the project is certainly on the infrastructure list. We aren't alone on that, but we're on the list. They're just looking for provincially clarification for the funding streams with the federal government. We shared with him what we are applying through the Green and Initiative, Green and Inclusive Building Funds, and that the deadline is July the 6th. We weren't certain, somebody on this call can tell us this, we weren't certain on that call if the fund required the provincial portion before it could happen. Zach wasn't aware of that either. So we can probably clarify that. One of the CAOs will have that answer. And basically, he just believes if we secure the funds through the Green Fund, that those funds can be leveraged at the provincial level. So that was it. We did tell him we were at the, what number we were at, and that we had ironed out our shares. We just had one or two more things that we had to iron out before it would be completely a go. Yeah, so that was it. And then maybe some more information in camera.
Sounds good. Thank you. Are there any questions for Mayor Mood? Anybody have anything to add that was there? No?
I think it was a very positive meeting. I mean, it certainly looks like the province is on board on this because, and he kind of advised us to work on it, go, don't hold back, so.
Good. John, go ahead.
Yeah, Zach did mention too, of Long Danny's line of thought. He says, keep the pedal to the metal.
Yes.
So,
Good. Any thoughts on talking to our MPs? Any thought on when that may happen?
Nope.
Okay.
We need government MPs, right? We need the
I know.
MPs provincially
Right.
to step up and help us with this one. So you know, basically with some on the government side.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Was there anybody who wanted to add anything else at this point? All right, seeing nobody, we're going to go in camera. If we could have motion, sorry, go ahead, CAO. Gushu.
I just want to raise something related to the last topic. So I think that was a very, there was our MP is not on the government side at this point, and although that may not necessarily pave the way to funding, I think it is important that we keep our elected representatives, all of them, fully informed on what we're doing.
Yeah.
We don't know what the timeline is going to be here for success, and we don't know what future elections may bring. And I don't think we serve ourselves well by keeping people who represent the community at different places in the dark, even though, we're not always going to have our stars aligned and everybody on the government side. I think they are still our representatives, and we need to keep them informed.
And they will be. So I've already spoken with Colton, and I texted Chris, but I didn't get a response from Chris yet. But yeah, they are our representatives.
Okay, so when you have a conversation with them, would you mind providing another update for us?
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Okay. All right, so we do have an in-camera item on our agenda today. So can I have we have a motion to go in camera. Okay, I saw that by Trevor, seconded by Guy. All those in favor signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Good, contrary minded? Good, okay, so we will go in camera, but before we do, we just have to be sure that we only have our committee members here. We're gonna go back into our regular meeting. Okay, so now that we're in our regular meeting, we had some discussion, and there was a motion that we had discussed. Is somebody willing to make that motion? Okay, Councillor Surratt. So go ahead.
So the motion would be that we ask Mayor Mood to contact I don't know what the word is, and seek advice from consultant. Thank you, Nicole. Does that work?
That works. Okay, do we have a seconder on that motion? Is there a seconder on the motion? Thank you, Daniel. Any questions on the motion? Trevor, did you have something to say, or just you were seconding?
No, it's fine, just
Okay.
seconding.
All right, any conversation? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, motion carried. I've lost the agenda. It's been a while. I think the next thing is our meeting date. Next meeting date. All right, so yes, go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, and you're probably going to recommend this anyway. I apologize in advance if you were, but I'd recommend that we meet weekly until the submissions put in.
Okay, thank you. So let's think about agenda items for the next meeting. So what will we have we'll have probably an update from Mark. What else are we going to?
You'll have an update from me.
Okay.
Terms of reference.
Terms of reference, right. That's a big one.
We may be ready to talk a little bit about the results of the negotiations, maybe a little bit.
Okay. All right. Sound good? So in a week from now, let me see. A week from now is June 1st. June 1st at 4 o'clock. Does that work for everybody? You'll be all done, Daniel. Yes? Okay, so June 1st, 4 o'clock. All right. And
Excuse me, Nicole, I think there's a Remo executive at 4 o'clock that
Okay.
day.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
I was gonna try to pipe up, but I was muted.
All right, so do we want a different time that day or do we want a different day? What do you all feel? 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock is fine for me. 2 o'clock work for you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so 2 o'clock on June 1st? All right, that sounds good. Can I have somebody move to adjourn?
I don't,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Pam.
yeah, I'm booked that whole day, but
Oh, okay. Do we want to look at another day?
Can we move it to
Sorry.
the second?
Can we move it to the second?
Second, yeah.
I'm good on the second.
You good on the
There's-
second?
There's an airport meeting on the second, isn't there? At 2 o'clock?
That would be,
So we could we do 4 o'clock on the second? Okay, 4 o'clock on June 2nd?
thanks, folks.
Okay. So somebody wants to move to adjourn?
I'll
Thank
move
you,
to adjourn.
Daniel. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Danny. All those in favor? Signify by saying aye. Thank you. Motion carried. All right, thanks, everybody. I know it was a long one, but lots of really, really good conversation.